very Creole Heartbeat this morning. I'm Prince Wadix, and I'm here with quite a bit of star-studded individuals who have really done so much for Dominica. We'll first of all take a delve into the wellness of Dominica, Dominica known as the Garden of Eden around the Western Hemisphere, and quite a bit of herbs all over Dominica, which can turn into remedies. We'll discuss that for the first 10 minutes. And then after we have two heavyweights, Sobers Esprit and Emil Diputa. We'll speak a little about the orange economy and delve into that a bit. But with a special hello and hi to everyone tuned in to Creole Heartbeat. Nous avons spécial bonjour pour tout le monde, à tout la Dominique et aux Antilles. C'est un grand plaisir pour nous live avec ça. Et puis nous avons partagé beaucoup d'informations qu'on a célébré 45 l'année indépendance. C'est vraiment un cadeau pour nous, messieurs, mesdames, fierté. C'est comme si dit toute bagaille en ordre. Et puis nous avons partagé beaucoup d'informations pour vous autres. Aujourd'hui là, messieurs, qu'on nous a dit spécial bonjour pour ces deux invités déjà en studio. Là, good morning to you guys in the studio. Good morning, Miss Paula Lockhart, Dr. Paula Lockhart, and also good morning to my very good friend. I used to know him as Paka Dejan. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sakafet.
Sakafet nous là, oui.
Tout bagaille bien.
Tout bagaille bien.
Absolument. And you have a very special launching of your book. Tomorrow, tell us about that. First of all, Paka, I know you have been into the herbal business for several years, and Dr. Lockhart, Paula Lockhart, have been, doing several research and studies about the wellness in Dominica. Tell us a little about your special launch, your book you're going to be launching tomorrow.
So, good morning, Dominica and the world. This is very appropriate to be here when you're talking about the orange economy, which is really an economy based on creative and cultural arts and industry as a forerunner towards economic growth. And the cultural economy, the creative economy, those industries first need a population that's healthy and well. So what we've been working on is looking at what resources we have here naturally in Dominica that can boost and support and move our wellness, our health forward. How we can sustain ourselves as a people. So we've written this book, Natural Plant-Based Remedies, Your Gateway to Health, Healing and Well-Being. And the idea is to promote how we can rely on the power of herbs for healing and peace building, meaning how to calm and create societies that are healthy, that can move us forth economic-wise.
Okay, bon, and Deja, you have been involved in the healing process and using herbs, and Dominica, we know, is a fortress of beauty where herbs are in abundance. Tell us how important is this special book launching tomorrow?
Yes, Alex, once again, thank you for the invitation on your program. I must say good morning to your listening audience, locally and regionally, internationally. It's a privilege, I must say, to be there because I've dedicated my life and my being to this purpose that I'm sharing with you today, healing, the healing power of herbs. And in Dominica, we should be the forerunners of this vocation. I call it a vocation, not just a work, because we have a rich culture, rich heritage, especially in this present time we are celebrating our independence. I would like to, alarm the need for us to appreciate what is ours, what belongs to us from the African roots. It goes way back from generation to generation. And herbal medicine and herbal healing is not new. We embrace our cultural heritage where we showcase food, we showcase medicines, we showcase food, we showcase music, but the medicinal aspect of it, to me, we are lacking that aspect to defend and to promote our herbal remedies, because we can shout aloud that we have the centenarians on the island, and to me this is the foundation on which I stand. So we have a lot of medicinal herbs, and the sad thing about it, we are not using them to their full potential, and because of that we find ourselves in disease, in illnesses. I mean, hypertension, diabetes, cancer is on the horizon. I'm saying to myself, but why should it be that way when we are blessed with the abundance of herbs and organic foods that can, and in fact, reverse this condition and actually heal our bodies from these conditions. So I am here to promote what Dominica has to offer, what we have to offer as a people, and the evidence of the efficacy and the empirical evidence that herbal medicine do have a place in our life and do have a place in our well-being. And Dominica, we should run with that as I'm speaking at present, because I could mention thousands of species of herbs that are already been documented to have the healing properties that can enhance our longevity and our well-being in Dominica.
Absolutely, and you have that lunch carded for tomorrow. Tell us a little about the lunch itself.
Well, we'll be showcasing our book. Actually, this is the first book I've written, and it was fit to collaborate with such how should I describe Paula Lockhart? As an amazing young woman, as a young woman with so much determination and so much vision. And life brought it together that we did a collaboration with this book, The Natural Plant-Based Remedies, Your Gateway to Health, Healing and Well-Being. So this book will be launching on Thursday.
That's tomorrow?
Yeah,
Yes.
Thursday, is it the 17th,
17th
of October at the Alias Fosse from 6 o'clock. I invite the general public to support this initiative, because it is ours. Most importantly, I mean, you mentioned Deja and Paula, but really we represent Dominica to the
Yes.
core. So this is we are very excited about it, and we are looking forward to get the best feedbacks from our people, because someone need to take charge, and I put my best foot forward to serve. And this is the outcome of my service over a 24-year period, to bring this knowledge in this literature. And I would really advise everyone in Dominica to have a copy in their household, because it's a guide to healing.
So give us an outline of the book itself, some of the contents, some of what listeners and viewers. By the way, we are live on DBS Facebook page and also YouTube channel with the kind compliments of DG Cell. We want to say special good morning to our viewers at this point in time, and all of you listening to DBS Radio, your nation station. Give us an idea of the outline of this particular book.
Okay, so this book, as we said, it evolved from a need to showcase and to document what we have here in Dominica. And it manifested in 7 chapters, although chapter 7 actually sprung into a whole separate book on foods, the foods we need for our body, and how foods serve for healing and wellness. But this particular first book, it first chronicled the need for natural healing and natural wellness, because we need the opportunity to have access and affordability in our health systems. And sometimes we're not able to access and afford certain conventional style medicine or conventional style health options. So the first chapter goes into the need for this herbal resources that we have. Chapter 2 goes into this documented expose on how the pharmaceuticals and scientists and research-based organizations have depended on herbs and plants for their outcomes, for their own benefits, for their own use. And then it goes into the reasons why we should take that step and choose what we have here as a resource. That's chapter 3. Chapter 4 goes into explaining and documenting what we saw as the biggest problems here in Dominica, high blood pressure, and the Caribbean. It looks at what is high blood pressure and diabetes and how to address it. So we didn't want to put 1,000 pages, so we really focused on the key issues we found here. And the research revealed that it's high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, and so forth. Also, PCOS, female problems. So the book goes specifically into those and shows how to deal with it, how the body is affected by it, what happens with long-term drug use, and so forth. And we chronicle some of what we can do with the herbs and natural resources we have here, specifically to target these things. Then it goes into how we can use the foods we have here to help us build ourselves. And we even put in, I believe, a 1-week food plan, or 2 or 3 week food plan that can help people as an initial guide and so forth. And it runs up with scientific documentation and details about these herbs. For example, blue vervain, serasi, which is Momandica charantia, which is what we know as pomkuli, how we can identify them, how we can use them, what they're all about, what the properties and so forth. And it gives a real holistic background on those things that we have here. Sea moss, for example, that is good for energy. And plantain, there's broadleaf plantain that's good for your eyes and so forth. So it tries to give a holistic and a big picture that could push us forward towards our health and well-being.
And with we know not communicable diseases are very prevalent in Dominica. I mean, I listened, I think, this morning, and to the news, and we have been hearing the prevalence of cancers. And now breast cancer has even overtaken prostate cancer.
Wow.
And any herbal healing or treatment by you guys for that illness in Dominica, which has been plaguing Dominica? I know, Parker, you have been actually in the lab working, studiously to really get some level of healing for the cancers in particular. Tell us about that.
Yes, a correction, what is Deja?
Deja. Parker is
Growing
our
up,
pet,
Pen name.
our pet name,
Yeah,
our pet
growing up that-
basketball name. Sorry,
Yes.
Deja.
Yes. So, I mean, what you have mentioned, Wadix, I must say, the wheel, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel have been invented already. And me being here today, I'm not claiming that I can cure anyone or I can heal anyone, but I can claim and I can shout aloud with all my voice, all my beings, that the herbs were created for the healing of mankind. The herbs were created for the healing of nations. And I could say, yes, we have reversed cancer. Yes,
Yes.
we have reversed high blood pressure. Yes, we have reversed diabetes. And the evidence are before our very eyes. We have persons on the island that can attest to that.
Yes.
Even before myself, we can mention one of our elders named Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi came to Dominica in the 70s, and Dr. Sebi shined the light on every single plan that we have on the highways, on the byways, on the street corners. They have medicinal properties that are scientifically documented. So we have herbs that can heal one from all these conditions that you have mentioned, and it is happening at present. I would like us to reflect, most importantly, reflect on who we are. We as a people, we are an organic people by our very nature. We live in an organic environment, which is beautiful, Dominica. Yet still, why are we using so much synthetics? Why are we using so much chemicals? At the end of the day, we treat this organic body by feeding it with synthetic drugs, synthetic foods. But I would like to allude to the truth and the fact that an organic body, the only medium that can complement the organic body to the holistic way, has to be an organic substance. And that's where the herbs come in. Without a doubt, herbs was created for well-being, and also herbs were created to keep us healthy. And in the interim of being ill, herbs were created to heal our bodies. So yes, we have all the herbs that we mentioned. I could mention a few herbs that people may be familiar with. Scientifically, let's start with the science, because one of the
We
things...
only have a couple more minutes because we have to jump to the next section. And what we will try to do right after Independence, we'll have you guys again here for a full hour. You may have to do it by Zoom, Dr. Lockhart.
Yes.
And, Deja, we can do something full length and possibly bring some samples of the herbs, because we are also live on DBS Facebook and YouTube channel. So we can go in length, but just for today, you can just run for a few of the herbs around and some of the healing properties.
Definitely. We have one of the most marvelous herbs in our forest. It is called Eucharica tomentosa, better known as guivshat. In English, we call it cat's claw. Cat's claw is excellent as an immunological booster. We also have a marvelous herb, which we call Amara Quassia amara. Scientifically known, we call it locally, we call it sumabwa, or we call it bitterwood. Bitterwood is excellent for destroying malignant cells.
Yes.
We also can allude to the fact that a wonderful herb that we have in our environment, Dr. Lockhart mentioned it, it is called Momondica chante. Momondica chante, we know it commonly as pomkuli or pomkuli. Pomkuli is documented as a herb, as a medicine that can eradicate, ladies, eradicate breast cancer.
Repeat that again. Repeat the herb.
We have this beautiful, marvelous, wonderful herb given to us by the very hand of the Creator who have formulated us. This herb is called Momondica chante, locally known as Popomkuli or we also call it pom kuli. This herb has been documented for millenniums. It has been documented that it can eradicate malignant cells that can cause cancer, especially in the breast in women and in the prostate in men. We can continue. We have a marvelous herb which we call Petivera alacea. This herb, we commonly know it as kojo root. Kojo root has been widely used by our foreparents, especially those who have experienced what you call mites or Pinez wadix. We used to use this herb to scrub our house. At present, I'm speaking to you, this herb is being cultivated in Jamaica and is being used for prostate cancer. It can reverse prostate cancer. And I could mention many other herbs, but
Cannabis, quickly.
well, you love to know cannabis. Cannabis, the king of the forest. The herbs have been tarnished over millenniums, and in this present era, we are hearing, oh wow, it is a God-given herb. It's a herb from the Garden of Eden. The cannabis plant, wow. This cannabis plant is actually part of who we are.
Yes.
The cannabis plant contains what we call endocannabinoids. And recently, science have proven to us that there is an extra system within our entity, what they call our body, that is called the endocannabinoid system. Yes, we have the immunological system, we have the circulatory system, we have the respiratory system, and many other systems that was designed to heal and protect our body. The cannabis plant has a synergy with the endocannabinoid system, and what it does, it protects us from getting ill. And as I say also, herbs are preventative and herbs are curative. So we can go on what it's for them.
And lastly, just before you leave, you have used your herbs and your treatment to cure cancer.
I'll use the word healing.
Heal.
Because
Heal.
the Creator has given us herbs that may heal our bodies. Yes, we have been using these herbs, and as you know, Alex, one of my mentors, which I will not forget, those that have brought me on this journey. Persons like Disciple Caesar, better known as Ferdinand Charles.
Yeah.
We have persons like Elder Blows. We all knew of Blows agro products. Mr. Blows is one of my mentors, he have passed away. Disciple Caesar also. And it is sad that tomorrow may be my turn. I may not be there anymore. And at the end of the day, we have this rich resource that we could exploit and we could actually thrive on. Because in my opinion, speaking on those that govern our country, we look at our economical status. And I could say to you that the most valuable resource that we have is our herbs.
Absolutely.
People.
And
Our herbs, because we know that a healthy people is a wealthy people.
Yes.
Can we call ourselves a healthy people?
with so many herbs in abundance in Dominica.
Yes.
We
It's
should
a
not be
question I would
sick.
like us to ponder on until we have our in-depth interview right after the independence, because I believe this is very pertinent that we delve into Dominica. It's a Dominica thing, and independence is that particular time when we celebrate everything Dominica. So I really want to wish you all the best for the launch of the book. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock at the Alliance Française.
Yes, yes. And we have what it takes here. We have what it takes. So it's up to us now to call on our leaders, call on those who are in support of our country, our nation, to help us and others in the field to put things together, pull things together. We have to come together to do that for sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Paula Lockhart and Deja. See you guys right after the independence. We'll have a full-length interview on this particular herb healing. I think it's an exciting time for this. God bless you, and see you guys tomorrow at the launch of the book.
Thank you so
Alex.
much.
And my final word, Dominicans, Caribbean, the international world, we don't have to suffer. We have healing. Please, let's acknowledge that we have healing, and the healing comes from the natural environment. Thank you.
Yes, and for those who want a copy of the book, we'll also be at the Creole in the Street on Friday, trying to promote what we have here in Dominica, the herbs we have here.
Okay, thank you very much, and best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, see you guys. Okay, this is the first part of our wonderful Creole Heartbeat session. We are delving into part 2, and we have two very important gentlemen started by to actually delve into part 2. One who I've really known particularly for all of my life, and that's Sober's Esprit. I must say he has been one of my mentors, and working with him over the decades have been a real treat. And Emil de Puta, one of the guys who have done so much for Dominica's music. And as we look at the orange economy, we really want to bring that sort of information. Once again, we want to say good morning to our viewers on DBS Radio Facebook page and also DBS Radio YouTube channel. It's a very, very important time in our history in Dominica. It's that time when we celebrate our 46th anniversary of independence, and we are so happy to welcome our visitors to our shores to celebrate with us. Let's see if we can get Sober's Esprit. That's one of my mentors and friend and partner. Good morning to you, Sobers. What's up, my friend?
Morning. Yeah, great conversation you just had.
All right.
I'm happy I had the opportunity to actually listen to part of it.
Yes.
Fantastic. And it's all in keeping with what we're talking about, eh?
Yes, exactly.
Because there's some synergies between what we call the orange or the blue or the green economies in these times. So you have to look at the colors as we march forward.
Absolutely, and I felt it was very important to sort of
Yes.
marry, fuse the both parts, because it's important with so many of our people falling ill, and whereby we have God given us, blessed us
Yes.
with so much natural healing powers around us in abundance, and we
Yeah.
are not using it. We go for the artificial stuff. Milo, Emil, Diputa, what's up, my friend? I hope you're hearing us loud and clear. Good morning. Sakafet, what's up? I
Emily,
am not.
you need to unmute yourself.
Unmute your mic, Milo. Those days
Yes,
he's a big actor, you know. Those days. Unmute your mic, my brother. We are not hearing you yet.
You heard me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now and clear. How are you, actor
Okay,
Emil?
Yes,
Straight from
everything.
Hollywood.
So much good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice to see you, bro.
Yeah. Malik,
Yeah, man,
as
it's a
always,
pleasure. But as we time is against us, but I want to delve into our topic. How would you define the orange economy, and why is it significant for Dominica's economic growth? Any one of you can take the first knock.
Well, yeah. So in my circle, we don't really we don't really define it as orange. Yeah, we talk about it as the creative economy, but this is by the same thing, and we are referring to the knowledge, the creative, the talents, the culture, those area of creative endeavors that we have that can make us build this emerging and important sector in our national economy. So it's all about knowledge, it's all about creativity and talent. So what we just spoke about is about knowledge. Yeah. This growing and emerging sector it's really driven by the ability to think more, to use knowledge, to use creativity, to use the cultural assets that we have in building a new and more vibrant economy. And so the idea is we building on what you already have. Yeah. Because we have the traditional sectors, agriculture, more recently manufacturing and so on. And then we have services. We have the tourism services sector, and we have a non-tourism services sector, that is professional services like our construction industry, architecture, health and wellness sectors, and so on. So all of these, it's to say that in the 21st century, the economy has to be much broader, has to be wider, and give us opportunities to be able to experience a variety of talents, a variety of of production in goods and services that can make us a better people and create a better economy for ourselves.
Absolutely. Not sure if you have anything to add, Emil.
yeah, well, I have to go with what Sober said. At the end of the day, we have to realize a lot of time we come from the tradition that a country is developed with its agriculture and with its tourism and that sort of thing. That's the traditional way we look at things in terms of building our economy. But very often we have left out, and we have been crying for it in the past, to have the arts, the musical industry as part of a serious industry. And it is very serious right now. It is evident out there. If you would like me to say what I've seen, because I've seen it firsthand. I was involved with WCK. I was also involved with Triple K, and I remember the days when I would have to go and beg DJs and radio announcers and so on to play a little bit of these guys' songs, right? Literally begging, and my CDs would get cast to the side, and nobody would pay much attention to it. And then now I can stand up in Miami Carnival at any fete. You go to a private Ryan fete. I was at Miami Carnival Juve, and every single truck, I kid you not, the main music was bouillon music, right? And that is a big industry. You can bring on people like Ridge, right? Actually earns a living from that right now. You have people like Asa Banton, who earns a living from that right now. And when I talk about a living, I'm not talking about a little 1,200 EC dollars a month or something like that. I'm talking about a huge living, right? That they can buy a vehicle, that they can build a house and so on that industry right now. And then I just hope, trying to make sure I speak carefully because I'm not in a position of knowing everything, but I hope that these guys and this industry is or will be taken in the seriously by the people in authority and so on, because I would love to see more being done. It was a bit sad for me, Wadix and Sobers, to learn that I'll say Triple K was supposed to have been paid, right, to play on the road, and then the promoters had to end up paying it because there were some breaks in the chain somewhere along the line, right? That I would prefer not to speak of right now. But then
No, but
so
paid by who? Triple K was supposed to be paid by
well,
who?
it was supposed to be paid by the Miami Carnival Committee,
Mm-hmm.
and the Miami Carnival Committee extended it for the authorities in Dominica to pay, and then eventually the promoters in Miami had to end up paying for it because none of the above decided that they would have paid for it. Although Miami said that they would have been the ones to pay for it, and then I'm getting that information from the people inside here. So I'd love to know what the other part of the story is, because at the end of the day, these guys are the ones flying our flags out there. And I mean, how much really it is? It's less. It is less. Listen to me carefully. It is less than paying the airline ticket and the hotel and accommodation and meals for an entourage of people to go to a meeting somewhere and come back empty-handed. These guys are coming back with money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Coming back with money to put on their NBD accounts, on their credit union accounts, and so on, and going back into our industry, right? Into our economy, I should say. So we have to take these things a little more seriously. And again, I can only speak from one side. I don't have all the sides. I would love to have all the sides. I would love for you, Wadix, Sobers, and other people to dig into that to see what's going on, so at least it can be taken more seriously. Because right now, I can tell you from what I've been seeing and over the years, even last year and the year before, bouillon music is the party music right now. Every single party that you go to, Caribbean party, bouillon music is what is dominating in these parties right now. And then the only place that they have to jump to right now is Africa, and you never know.
Okay, we'll delve
Yeah,
into that aspect of
yeah,
it a little
yeah.
later as
So
to the Caribbean patterns and even how important bouillon music is. But Sobers, you have
yeah,
been working with the tourism section for possibly all of your life. I mean, part of NDC, part of the World Creole Music Festival. I saw and worked with you, worked alongside you, saw your various connections, the way you network with the various entities globally. You also work with the OECS. When you look at cultural heritage, and how important cultural and heritage tourism is, because I mean millions of people, millions of tourists follow cultural tourism and heritage tourism globally. In what ways does Dominica cultural heritage uniquely position us to benefit from the orange economy?
well, so here's the thing. I think what Emil has highlighted, it speaks to a bigger issue, a bigger challenge that we face with in terms of how we see and how we place value on this sector. That is so critical for us, particularly for young people, in this new and modern times. So the first thing we have to recognize, and I would want to spend time today for us to define what it is that we're talking about first. And I think it's important for us to break down, to decipher some of the challenges that we're faced with. And what Emil has just described is one of those challenges that we face with in the industry. In the first place, let us understand what it is that we're talking about here. So we're talking about, as I say, in a broad way, an emerging sector in the economy that we haven't placed value and importance to over more than 5, 6 decades. Yeah, because bouillon is not the first type of music that has garnered global and international attention from Dominica. Long before bouillon, we had calypso, we had calypso. You know, I mean, we're talking about bands like the Gaylords Power Union. You're talking 1960s, you know, guys, breaking the waves and hitting out all over the world. You know, Exile One created a musical revolution in Creole countries, and so on and so forth. And then WCK continued the tradition of building a strong music culture for Dominica. So whilst we have seen successes over 5 and 6 decades, we as a country, yes, there's a periodic times that we say we glorify the musicians and we give them some praises, but I think as we haven't recognized the value of it as building an industry. And that I think is where the problem really is. It's really giving legitimacy to the fact that the art and culture is important in these times. So what are we talking about? So it is modern music though. It is music and entertainment as an area where Dominica and much of the Caribbean have what we call competitive advantage. Not even comparative advantage. We have competitive advantage. That means that we can compete in the global space. Dominica has done that, and we are doing it again with bouillon. You know, you're talking about in the 70s. Dominican music was vibrant in Africa, particularly West Africa, in Latin America, and so on. So music is an area where we have competitive advantage because we have natural talents. Dominica, as well, I don't know if it's the genes, what it is that we have. We're just creating music. We can just create music. In my time, we saw bands in every village in Dominica. In Maho, we had about 2 or 3 bands, maybe 4 or 5. In Roseau, Emily can tell you, they had bands in every nook and cranny of Roseau. Yeah. But today the situation has changed and so on. So music is one area. But there are other what we call subsectors of that industry. So we also have things like visual arts, visual and performing arts. So let's talk about the visual arts. Long time we've been mastering craft, particularly our Kalinago craft. Our Kalinago craft is globally recognized, folks. We have also indigenous craft from people who use bamboo, who use frigier, and a variety of local material to create craft of high quality that we can be globally competitive. So we have craft. But we also have painting and fine arts. So we have had some fantastic artists. I mean, Earl Etienne and the others build a contemporary art movement in Dominica. But even before Earl, we had Alwyn Bully, we had the Tulum Brothers, and so on and so forth. Okay,
Lennox Only Church.
Lennox Only Church, and I mean a wide variety of guys. But we also have film, animation. Well, animation is not so big in Dominica compared to some of the other islands. But one of the subsectors and where we have potential for growth is the film and audiovisual sector. We have young filmmakers who have done work in the film sector, doing shorts, doing documentaries, doing music videos, and so on. So that's another area that we can, in fact, develop. Then we have fashion and design. So apparel making, accessories, so bags and jewelry and so on.
I believe is really picking up, Sobers.
Exactly. I mean, people like Vanessa Winston and these people have been doing fantastic work over the years. And then we have festivals that has become an important part of this sector in the last 40 years with the World Creole Music Festival and redefining Carnival in Dominica in a big way and so on, and jazz. And we see the proliferation of smaller events happening in Dominica throughout the year. It's no longer we used to wait until independence to have festivals. We have festivals all year round. Then we have things like book publishing, so which is not big in Dominica, but we have the possibility. In fact, we just your earlier guests.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. Is they're publishing book. Yeah. So book publishing is another area where we have some ability to do. And then we have new media. So we have online media. So people like DNO and Kalai, but we can create YouTube channels and a variety of other forms of new media. So what we're saying is that the creative economy or the orange economy is really vast. It's not just about music. It is a wide range.
Also the herbs and spices,
Yes.
Sobers.
So there's the other thing too. Then we can see some cross-cutting things. We can see some synergies between and among in the sector itself and with other sectors. So we have film and design. We have film and music. We have music and fashion and so on. But we also have music and what telecoms. We see a lot of our musicians working with telecom companies and other. So there are a wide range of things that we can do utilizing the talents, the knowledge that we have as a country. So I think that's the first thing we need to emphasize, that this is an area of wide opportunity, of great importance. However, for it to develop, we have to pay close attention to it. So one, we have to invest more in it. Two, we have to recognize its value. It is no longer that fellas do music as a side thing. It's no longer that the craft people are doing that to sell a few craft, a few earrings or one bag. No. As Emil is saying, people are taking this thing seriously. It's a livelihood. People are earning livelihoods from those areas of our creative economy. I'm going to stop there, but that's to highlight that we're talking about not just one area, we're talking about several areas of the creative economy. An economy that is globally a multi-trillion-dollar industry. This is the output, of this creative economy. We look at what happened in Africa. We're looking at what happened in Europe, United States, in China, with music, with fashion, with film, with new media, with book publishing, and so on and so forth. This is a vast industry. And Dominica, let me just tell you, recent studies have highlighted the fact that in terms of export in the creative goods and services, we have held our own in the OECS and the Caribbean. We have I think we should get some time to speak about the data, although it's not a lot of data available, but even the data is showing that that sector is is already exporting in a big way, particularly in places like the performing arts, in visual arts, in new media and so on. So as an export trade, we are able to hold our own and to contribute to the economy. And we're right. When those guys go out, they bring back foreign exchange into the economy. But of course, it's helping us to create jobs. But it is not going to happen by accident, folks. It is not going to happen because it is an emerging sector and it requires close attention. Because it's emerging, because it's new, we have to place more attention to its development and growth. So I want to stop there and let's continue.
Let's narrow down to the World Creole Music Festival, because we know next week, once again,
Yes.
we'll be putting on another edition for the world. Let's look at the impact to the local economy. Let's look at the impact on our tourism sector. Let's start with Emil. How important is the World Creole Music Festival? I think 25. We're about how many years now? 27 years or so, Sobas? I think we had a few years where we missed out.
In 97.
97, I think we missed out 3 years.
Yes.
For
yeah.
Erica, for Maria, and also for COVID. But when you look at the impact, I mean, on the local economy and tourism itself, let's just kind of narrow down and educate our people on how important that this World Creole Music Festival is, Emil.
Anything I say right now regarding the World Festival will be repetition, because this has been spoken about from even before the World Creole Music Festival started, why it was going to be, how it is going to be, and so on. And it is surprising that some people still ask for the book reports for the festival itself, right? For a festival like that, I am of the opinion, just like deceased Eddie Toulon, my brother-in-law, would have said, and then Cornell has it in a song where he was actually playing what Eddie said. It is the trickle down, right? Of the vendors, the taxi drivers, the tour operators, the restaurants, and so on. That is what the World Creole Music Festival was designed for. Not necessarily, and I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying, not necessarily, right? Not necessarily to break even or make money on that particular night. Right?
And you're referring to gate receipts.
I'm referring to
Gate receipts, right? It's the overall
so
impact.
Look and say, okay, we spent $1,000 and we only made 900. That you can't look at it like that. How much did Wadix make, right? How much did the MCs make? How much did the hair braiders make? Right? How much did the vendors on the side of the road make? How much did the wholesalers, the hotels, and so on, how much did they make? And that is what something like the World Creole Music Festival is designed for, just like the Jazz and Creole, just like Carnival, and so on. Nobody asked, well, maybe that can be said in terms of the Calypso show. If you're having a Calypso show, you can look at the gate receipts for the Calypso show to see if the Calypso show made money. But how much did the country make from Carnival and so on? And that is what is very important when you're doing these packages. But the World Creole Music Festival will have its impact like anything else. But that does not take away from the fact that we need to have the proper artists, right, on the festival, right? Because at the end of the day, we can't forget the world part. We want the world to have eyes on us for that time, and we need to have the proper artists that will bring the people in and not take it for granted that that particular date, people in X, Y, and Z countries are going to just block it off and come in anyway. We have to make sure we package it properly and we do it properly for the people. And talking about packaging things properly, we have to extend that onto our cultural aspects, which I know you are passionate about, and also sobers, the Jinping, the
You mean the traditional
like
aspect? Yeah.
traditional aspects of it. Too often we just think, let us just put a Jing act and a belly act on stick thing. Package it nicely, right? So that people can be intrigued. People will be interested in looking at it.
That's
but sometimes it's just like a recess time, a break time sort of thing that we just put it on. So that time people can go to the bars and the other places to get a drink whilst the Bella and the Jinping is on. You want to make it intriguing also. And the groups that do these things, the Jinping, the Bella, the Silpan, the Lapo Cabwit and all these things, let's package that nicely. Let's package it a little better. Let's give them the encouragement to have these drumming groups that we have over to bring in a drumming group from Martinique and Guadeloupe for our carnival all the time for people to follow. We have them right here. How do we encourage these people to have bigger drumming groups? How do we encourage these schools to have bigger groups and so on in terms of drumming and steel pan and that sort of thing, so that it can... Right now, if you have to look for a drumming group or steel pan group for some event, you have to be scrambling, calling all over the place, and people have to be trying to patch something together and so on. It should not be like that. There should be stuff that you can call this school or that school or whatever it is and ask them for their groups. Again, I may be speaking from a level of ignorance because I do not know. So somebody might want to correct and say, no, I mean, this is already happening and this is going on and so on. But if it is, you're still at a loss, because the reason I don't know is because you're not doing your job properly.
That's right.
So, was I know you would like to add you an integral part. Was there from the Genesis?
Right. So there are two things here. One is on the festival itself, as Emil rightly pointed out. The festival is, it has a wide impact, economic, social, cultural impact in Dominica and the region, yeah? So economic impact, Emil is no longer trickle down, again. It is a real business now, Emil,
Yep.
because we have a variety of small business operators in this country that benefiting directly from the festival, and they trickle down what they make. I think that's what it is. So we have small business entities in the country that is benefiting from that. Some of them from the tourism sector, some of them from agriculture, some of them from the entertainment sectors, and so on. So the festival is already providing real tangible benefits to a variety of business and entrepreneurs in the country. Yeah. Secondly, the country, Dominica, is able to, in fact, up its tourism game because of the festival. This is a major impact, folks. We're talking about over 10,000 people coming to Dominica during that period. This is significant. If we look at the tourism numbers, you would see that time of the year, that's the time when the most people come to Dominica. So it has a huge impact on the tourism side. So, but I think we always have to say, festival is festival, and festival is festival tourism as well, because festival can hold its own. Because a lot of people say, oh, why should we spend all that money on the festival or festivals and so on? No. Because festivals are important elements of our national tourism development, but it's also an important element of the cultural and artistic part of the country as well. So right. that is an important thing that we need to understand. Now, Emil, I think what we have to do now is to understand that just by doing a festival or just by doing or talking about the music, not going to make us be competitive. We have to do the work. 12 months in the year, we have to do the work, folks. And that's why we talk about investment in the arts and culture. So what are some of the areas we have to invest in? As you rightly pointed out, Emil, we have to invest more in education and training. So we have to have these programs in schools, in communities, so that the next generation of musicians, the next generation of traditional folklorists, the next generation of designers, of masqueraders, can learn the craft, can hone their skills. That is important. Yeah. No industry, no sector is ever able to develop without a foundational aspect. So education is key. So we need to see improvement in the delivery of educational programs at the school system, and already we do not have enough. We need to see more.
Because Ubers, if I'm what it's. I hope I'm not taking over.
No. It's a discussion. It's a discussion.
All right. But you see what Sobers is alluding to there. If we have, for instance, the schools with more drumming classes or different things like that, you know what you're going to have? You're going to have another festival growing, right? In terms of school competitions with the drumming and so on, the Lapo Cabrit and the steel pan and so on. So you can have Castlebrooke School, Grand Bay School, schools from Roseau, Portsmouth, all these different places coming together with school competitions. Guess what? Their people are going to follow them in terms of the competition to cheer them on and lead them on. You see what happens with the teenage pageant and the princess show and that sort of thing. People come from all over to support these young ladies and so on. So the same way, people will come over to support all of that. And what you want really is economic activity. So the more economic activity that we can create is the better for us in the long run. But you have to be thinking and forward thinking all the time to make these things happen. Sobers was speaking a while ago, and what Sobers was really speaking about in terms of all the other industries are what we can consider to be low-hanging fruit. So you have a bunch of mangoes at the bottom of the tree that are ripe, that you can pick them right away. But want to climb up the tree to get that nice rose yellow one, but look, we have some low-hanging ones there.
And feather them, put them to and feather them.
Right, I'm filling my basket with all the low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Whilst you not want to prove that you can climb that tree.
But Emil, but also we have them fenny. What do we call fenny? Right. You know what's fenny? To fenny, we put them. We say mago caban. So we take
put them to ripe,
the half ripe ones.
Right. But
so when they come out, Emil, people will want them.
Right.
There'll be a great desire for them. And that is what we have to do with the arts.
Look what happened to us just over the summer, right? And people forget that, we must never ever forget that, We have a Olympic gold medalist from Dominica, People may want to argue that she has roots in your village in Maho.
That's right. She's
right?
Dominican.
A Dominican, a gold medalist, right? How seriously, and I'm asking, please, how seriously are we taking the sports, the athletics, and so on? Again, that's not a low-hanging fruit. We have the land, right? And different things. Should the government do it? Should private people do it? Should the sporting organizations come together to do it? Who should really do it, and how should it be done? Because how many gold medalists do we have in the waiting, right? St. Lucia has 2 gold medals from this year, Olympic gold medals from athletes. And some may want to argue, but these people went overseas and it's overseas that they got it from. No matter what, they are Dominicans. And at the end of the day, we need to look at all these low-hanging fruits in terms of sports, in terms of what you say there. Look, for instance, we have some growing talent in terms of social media superstars.
Yeah.
We have this guy, Amani, right? That's Felix Henderson's son. We have JL Joseph, right? Who's developing quite a following. We used to have Ma Buttercup. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he had quite a following before. And some of those things, these things that we just laugh at and think, they're just funny people. That's just a bunch of jokers and so on. But people earn millions.
There's value in that. There's value.
But interestingly, you mentioned sports, Emil. For the first time ever, we had 2 Dominicans playing on the West Indies team at the same time, Sobers. I mean, never before that has ever happened. A small country, 60, 70,000 people, 2 Dominicans playing. But at a certain time, we had 3, 2.5. Because Mr. Louis' son is Mr. Louis' grandson was on the same team with Kavem Hodge and also Alec Afanez. So we had 3 Dominicans on the West Indies team.
There are two Louis.
Yeah, but the 2 Louis. One was opening at the time, and then Kavem, and then and Afanaz. So we had 3 Dominicans on the senior West Indies team at the same time. But what about when you have to look at the facilities? You have to look at how serious.
So I was saying that highlighting education and training as an important component. The other thing is in line of education, we have to look at opportunities for overseas scholarships. So Emil, you're right. So we do not have the infrastructure here. We don't have the facilities here. A lot of times, we have to send our folks overseas to train. The same way we send people to do medicine or law or engineering. We have to send the brightest minds in the arts to university, to colleges overseas, so that they can hone the skills, they can develop their craft. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm working with creatives across the region now. I do some work for the OAS. And you'd be amazed quality of stuff coming out of this region now. And one of the reasons is because of this, a lot of these young people are highly educated and highly skilled. What is missing is the infrastructure, weak infrastructure. The infrastructure is missing. What is missing is the incentives to propel them to world-class standards. What is missing is funding to get them to produce more. So one is education. 2 is spaces. We need to develop spaces. And every opportunity I get, I keep saying that. So we need to have community centers or cultural centers established so that our artists and our creatives can in fact improve their art, improve their skills. So in key communities like Maho, my own home village, in Grand Bay, in Castle Bruce, and so on, we have to look at the possibilities for opening spaces so that we can practice, we can train, and do the same way we building facilities for sports, for basketball, for cricket, and so on. We have to do the same thing for the arts.
Because Sobers, we what you call scouts, right?
Yes.
Coming from the different places and so on. Sometimes
that's right. Showcasing.
Do we have any local scouts?
No,
right?
Because we didn't have the platforms and infrastructure to adequately showcase our artistic talent. So one of the things I have been advocating to my colleagues at the Festivals Commission and the DDA, maybe I'm speaking because I am also a board member of the DDA now, so it's going to come back to me. But I think that we need to have what I call a marketplace around the festival, and to, in fact, showcase Dominican talents, particularly in the area of music. So we can, the same way we bring in other people like media and so to come to watch the festival, we can bring in scouts, we can bring in promoters of events, we can bring in promoters of recording artists to come to the festival, and we can showcase those talents, particularly the emerging talents. That is the talents that haven't been
sports and fun.
international.
But adding to what you're saying there, this gentleman Louis from Belgium, who has the Fest team, right? That's the biggest festival in Europe, the biggest Caribbean festival in Europe. He has not been to Dominica for about 3 years, and he called me earlier, about 2 months ago, to tell me that he wants to come again. And what he comes for is to scout our friends. And I called the hotel where he normally stays at, right? And told them, please, whatever you all do, make sure this man and his people gets a room, right? Because this man comes to Dominica. Because of him, Michael Henderson, Chubby, Triple K, and so many other people have gone to Belgium. All expenses paid. And they have been showcased throughout Europe because of this gentleman here. And many people come down and we don't even know that.
So,
right?
So let us have. So can you imagine if we have a structured approach to showcasing the talents?
Right.
So obviously, what happens on stage, they will see what happening on stage.
Right.
Okay. But let us see how we can showcase our emerging talent, the young talents, the green ones, and to let these scouts, these mentors can come and see these people and to be able to work with them, so that they can help them to develop and to progress.
How can we allow, let's say, the Thea Lafons and the Kavem Hodge and the Alec Afanas to mentor some of those younger talent, so that we can have some level of sustainability later, Sobers or because we know of the young, I think you love him that much, Beno Pascal's son, Emil.
Yes.
We still have a project to do.
Stefan.
But then how are we going to use these guys who have really excelled and reached, at the pinnacle in terms of their sporting life, and now can make at least some revenue from their God-given skills and the opportunities they've gotten to mentor some of our young children. I've been seeing
that is what it all has to do with marketing again, and we need to market, we need to showcase, we need to boast these people, right? We need to have billboards with these people and so on, so the younger people now can look up to them and see them as their role models. When you have the younger people seeing them as their role models, you can now invite them to the schools to come and talk to the school children and so on, the college students, and tell them what they did, how did they become like what they are, because who are the role models that we really have now? We have to ask ourselves that question. Who are our young people's role models? Do they have the right role models, right? So the way we can do it is marketing these people as much as possible.
On the local and international scene, platforms.
Especially on the local scene. Because you want them, you want your son Wadix or your daughter Sobers and so on to look up and say, boy, I would like to be on a billboard like Alec one of these days. I would like to be on a billboard like Kavem. I would like to be recognized like Kavem one of these days.
Well,
right?
What Sendusha did with Juju, is that an example that we should take on? Name a street after her, name, several things after, because I still feel, Sobers, the colonial names are still plaguing us, whereby we have so many people from different sectors of our life. We could actually, because this is also, this can influence people. It can motivate people when we start, to actually, for instance, we need the Aragos of culture to possibly be named after Alwyn. This can actually motivate younger people.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I agree. So we have to utilize our existing, our contemporary talents, and so, for example, when they come to Dominica on their break, come to the schools, go to the schools, have pep talk with them, and so on and so forth. But I think where the problem is, the challenge is how they utilize those who have been there before them. That I think is the issue, both in the arts and culture and sports. So, for example, Yes, we have to we have to recognize those guys who came before this new generation of musicians. Are we giving them the due recognition? I mean, look at somebody like Bird and Bell on the
Andrew Bell
Bird.
on the Bird.
Andrew Bell on the Bird. A lot of people don't know about Bird.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know.
One of the most accomplished
This
musicians
is one
in
of the
Dominica.
most accomplished and amazing talents ever to come out of this country.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a job to do, folks. And Emil, but what it's you in the media, so and maybe me too. I have to write more, so we can profile these people more, so we can get our young people to know that they didn't start this thing. You know, the Beyond Music didn't start this music revolution in Dominica. These guys are standing on the shoulders of Bird, on Mike Morrow from Maho and Gordon Henderson and Ophelia and so on. Not every society, that's what they do. You have to know your past. You have to and build on that. And then that's one thing, recognizing and giving value to those who came before. The second thing is we can utilize our guys who are still with us. Chubby, for example. Chubby should be doing some more work in the community. Why can't we use Chubby to go to schools in the Grand Bay
and Co.
and the
Chubby
South?
and Co.
And Co. You know, I just give Chubby the name Chubby. When Gordon Henderson comes to Dominica, we should getting him to work with young producers. Let them understand the process that was involved in creating Calypso, so we can have greater fusion between
and even the music business,
the
from
music
a global
thing, yes.
perspective.
The music, exactly.
But what
So that is a challenge for us, Emil. How we utilize those guys
That is
coach
correct.
and
I
to
agree.
mentor this
But even
generation.
Emil, who managed to band successfully,
course,
should be tapped
because
in.
we do not have
He
bands,
took
we do not have
WCK to a different
Let me
level. He
just
took
throw it
Triple
at-
K to a
let me
new
throw it at
level.
you. Let me throw it at
Are
you.
you tapped in,
Let me throw
Emil,
it at
to
you.
mentor?
Let me throw it at you guys before you go, Emil. How many band managers we have in Dominica?
Very few,
How
excepting
many?
maybe Liam.
Emil, people like Emil, they have a blueprint.
Blueprints
He
in
may not be a
success.
professor. He may not be a professor at a university, you know. But Emil can say, hey,
He have
if
a
you want to be
master's
good
in managing
manager,
golden
if you want
bands.
to be a band manager, these are the 1, 2, 3 things you have to do.
Yeah, but you see, so what young Malik saying there is an important thing, you know.
Of course.
Emil was a band manager and so on, and Emil has his different successes that he can prove, right? But still, Emil will be sidelined because Emil doesn't have a paper from a university with a.
But that's all right, Emil. That's all right. That's all right.
No,
That's trying to change the
That's
dynamics.
okay for you, but a lot of people will say, "Oh, we cannot check him out because of that." But that's okay. But let me just get back to something else. How do we motivate the young people if we do not monetize,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Everything, because people want to know how much money can they make from it.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons why I believe that agriculture is not as popular as it should be in Dominica. Because we teach agriculture in schools for real, but do we teach the children how much money they can make from a plot of cucumbers? How much money they can make from a plot of tomatoes? And they can do that over the summer period and make money out of it, right? When we bring Kavem and Alec and all these different people into the schools, we need to make them speak to the school children on how much money they make. We need to add that part to it. Because when they hear, what, this guy makes over $100,000 a year from playing cricket, and I love cricket. The best job you can have, do what you love and never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, we maybe just have
Emil, remember we said,
if we have a few more minutes, but I want us to touch on
Emil, don't forget, when we started the conversation, we said the orange economy or the creative economy has huge impact on the economy. So that is the business side. The economic value.
Correct.
And I talk about the data. We have data to show that, but we need more data. We need better data. So for the festival, we have to collect data. The CSO needs to help us to look at how we can look at how much money the musicians bring in, and the musicians must be cooperating with us to say we can create a satellite account around culture, and they can provide us with the information.
Because that's how we can have a proper economy.
So the economic impact,
a proper industry, sorry.
Jobs, incomes. All right, that's one thing.
Money,
the money thing.
That's
but
it.
the question, but I think you also saying that, Emil, We have to show them how to monetize their talents. That is
Correct.
what we have to do. So,
Yep.
so in music, for example, and in most of the creative arts, we can monetize through what? One, streaming services on streaming platforms, streaming services. Two, merchandising. That is a big thing now. Licensing.
Imagine
So-
Bob Marley.
so that is the
Bob
thing that
Marley
we have to
died so many
learn.
years
We have to
ago, and you can
them.
still get a Bob Marley T-shirt.
Royalties, music royalties, royalties,
Bob,
royalties.
Bob Marley album. One of our Bob Marley album was number
That
one
is
recently
right.
on Billboards. You know.
That's right.
Michael Anderson had a workshop,
A workshop, yeah.
at UE Center recently to show everybody how they could monetize and their
Yes.
rights and so on with the music industry. Find out from her how many
How
people.
many? Yeah,
I
and that's the
know,
problem
I know,
here.
I
I
know.
find. I will tell you something, Emil. I work at the regional level. I work for the OECS for 7 years, and now I'm doing work for the OAS. And I'm finding that our people are not coming forward to take advantage of opportunities for education
Exactly.
because part of it is arrogance, Emil.
Yeah.
It's an arrogance. We think we know it all, and we don't have to learn.
You just
And I remember you telling some vocalists. I remember Emil telling some vocalists, guys, you have to work on your craft.
yep.
You have to work on your craft. You have to continuously learn your craft. Work on your
Perfection,
craft.
perfection.
Jeff Joe, the master, wasn't the best vocalist when he started. And he ended up being one of our top vocalists, one of our best vocalists, because he worked on his craft continuously
Yep. You have to.
over the years,
You have to.
And
it's
guys,
the same
finally,
thing
as we
with
wind
everything.
down, we just have a few more minutes. I want us to touch on what Emil really reiterated. Gordon Anderson mentioned that he thinks that we should actually market Bouillon as the best or the greatest carnival music in the world. Any thoughts on that, in as much you making so many inroads, and not only inroads, some of Dominica bands have been playing at the major carnivals all over the world. Should we use the opportunity now to tell the world that any carnival anywhere in the world, send for a Dominica band? Emil first and then Sobers. We just have about 4 more minutes. We have a very important program coming up next.
That's very simple, Wadix. That's an easy yes. And what?
No, but we need the support from on top. Because the bands on their own cannot market it to the world. We need the tourism department. We need DDA, DFC to understand this is serious business. Yes, we are the Nature Island, but we are now adding to the Nature Island. The greatest carnival bands in the world are from Dominica.
Party bands. That's what you having a party. You cannot leave out Bouillon. You cannot leave out Dominica. Simple.
No, but we need to do it in a, like you said, in a structured way, Sobers, that the world know that you have to come to Dominica. Don't care where you are in the world. Japan wants to have a carnival. India wants to have a carnival. Dominica.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't really want to lecture anybody on this thing, but clearly, Emil, we know that is as simple. We have to market our arts and culture. That's a given. That's what we've been doing. Emil, I worked with you on several projects. We went to the UK and so on, and marketing our music, and Wadix, we do festival tourism and so on. We have to market this thing called art and culture in Dominica. But there are a few things that has to be put into place for that to happen. And one of the things is we need to enhance the capacity of the institutions that are working in the arts and culture. That's one of the major things. So the issue of trade facilitation, export development, we have to look at that. So these are some of the key requirements. We have to look at export grants and funds, because the bands and the creatives across the sector cannot produce more work if they do not have access to capital, folks. Because in the end, it's about production and production quality. So yes, we have to do all of these things, and we have to just get more organized and more disciplined about it and work together. Collaboration is important as well in this whole thing, and building partnerships in Dominica and outside of Dominica.
Okay, thank you very much, Sobers.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Emil. But we have Flo coming up next, and we had 10 minutes into the time. But I think the conversation should continue. I believe it's very important.
You need Mr.
The education. Yes, I think we should set up and see how we can organize a
Emil, we
2-hour
haven't done it in a
program
long time,
where we can
Remember,
delve into this.
Yeah.
This is a very important aspect. And like Emil was saying earlier, millions of dollars can derive from this. And so as you yourself you're a master on when it comes to cultural industries. I think this conversation need to continue. Thank you guys for actually lending us your time today and your expertise and professionalism. I really wish you guys the best of the Independence season, most of all Creole Week. Milo! Creole Heartbeat. Coming up next on DBS Radio is a special flow program. Prince Wadix, may God bless you. May God bless Dominica.
Yes, I. Sakai Malad. Prince Wadix. Prince Wadix. Prince Wadix. Prince Wadix. Papou wete ba moun flè la yo mange a quitter la vie.